Welcome to the complete guide to all English verb tenses. We're going to take a look at present, past, and future tenses, and we are going to switch from the affirmative form to the negative form, and even the question forms, positive questions and negative questions also. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to English Speaking 360. My name is Josh. Here is the program for today. We're going to check out the present tenses, 4 present tenses, the 4 past tenses, and the 4 future tenses. In this video, there is something for everybody because if you are a beginner or low intermediate, you should focus on the simple tenses and the progressive tenses. But if you are at a higher level, high intermediate or advanced, then I recommend focusing on the perfect tenses and the perfect progressive tenses. This video is also going to help you understand a lot because I have included the diagrams, the little pictures to show you exactly what the verb tense means. And do not miss the final quiz. It's a monster. 24 questions, 2 questions for each verb tense. It's going to blow your mind. Let's get started with the present tenses. The simple present, present progressive, but some people also call it the present continuous. The present perfect, the present perfect progressive, also called present perfect continuous. Simple present. The simple present is used for habits, something that you do every day, for example. Now let's take a look at the affirmative form. You drink coffee. You drink coffee every day. It's a habit. What is the negative form? You do not drink coffee. But you can also use a contraction. You can say, you don't drink coffee. What is the question form? Do you drink coffee? You see here, you're using the affirmative form, you drink coffee, and you just put do in front, and it makes a very nice question. It's a yes-no question. Do you drink coffee? Yes, I do. No, I don't. The simple present is a little special, however, because we say she drinks coffee. Now you see here, we added an S. Why? Because at the third person, it requires an S. So he drinks coffee, she drinks coffee, it drinks coffee. The negative form, she does not drink coffee. So you see here, we're using the auxiliary do, but at the third person, he does, she does, it does. She does not drink coffee, but you can also use the contraction, she doesn't drink coffee. Now, how about the question form? Can you make it? I think you can. Does she drink coffee? It's the same as before. We take she drinks coffee and we add do in front, but do is stealing the S from drinks and it becomes does. Here's one more thing that you can do. When do you drink coffee? Where do you drink coffee? Why does she drink coffee? And then you have a WH information question. You could also ask a negative question. Watch out here. You could say, don't you drink coffee? Don't you drink coffee means you're surprised that the person doesn't drink coffee. What? Don't you drink coffee? What's wrong with you? That's what it means. So watch out with the negative question form here. You could also say, doesn't she drink coffee? What's wrong with her? Same thing. Now let's move on to the present progressive. One more time, bottom right corner. The most common use is for actions happening now, at this very moment. Let's take a look at an example. I am studying right now. I am plus ing. The ing is the progressive form. It shows that the action is happening right now at this very moment. You could also say, I'm studying right now, the contracted form. The negative form, I am not studying right now, or I'm not studying right now. I'm, but there is no contraction for am not. I amn't studying right now is not possible. Now, the question form, what do you think is the question form? Am I studying right now? It's a little strange to ask a question like that about yourself. Am I studying right now? You should know if you're studying right now. Now, let's take another example. You are studying right now. You are. You could say you're studying. Good. The negative form, you are not studying, or you aren't studying now. Another possible contraction is you're not studying. Question form, are you studying? This one is much more natural. You could ask someone, are you studying right now? That would be a very good question. Let's go with a third example. She is studying right now, or she's studying right now. Now you see, I am, you are, she is, he is, it is, we are, you are, they are. That is the verb to be, and that is what you have to use for the present progressive. The negative form, she is not studying right now. She isn't studying right now. Question form, is she studying right now? You're asking if she is studying at this very moment. The three examples of questions here are yes/no questions. But remember, you can always add a WH question word just in front. What am I studying right now? Where are you studying? Why is she studying? And that makes perfect sense, and they are very, very good questions. You could also have a negative question. Aren't you studying? I'm shocked. Why are you not studying at this very moment? Aren't you studying? What's wrong with you? Let's move on to the present perfect. The most common use of the present perfect is for a past action with a present result. You see in the diagram, it's pretty clear. So something that happened in the past, but has some kind of effect in the present at this moment. Let's see an example of the affirmative form. I have watched that movie. That is for a regular verb. What would be the negative form? I have not watched that movie. Or I haven't watched that movie. Question form? Have you watched that movie? That's a perfectly good question. Here's another example. I have seen that movie. Seen. See, saw, seen. That is the past participle, the third one. I have seen that movie for irregular verbs. You could also have the contractions. You could say, I've watched that movie, or I've seen that movie. Negative form, I have not seen that movie. If you want to use the contractions here too, you can. I haven't watched that movie, or I haven't seen that movie. Question form, have you seen that movie? Let's take a look at one more example for the third person. She has watched that movie. She has seen that movie. Watch out here, you cannot use have. You cannot say, she have watched that movie. It doesn't work. She has watched that movie. And if you want to use the contraction, she's watched that movie. She's seen that movie. Negative form, she has not watched that movie. She has not seen that movie. The contraction is, she hasn't watched that movie. She hasn't seen that movie. Now the question form, has she watched that movie? Has she seen that movie? Perfectly good questions. Now you can always put a question word before. Where have you seen that movie? Why has she seen that movie? We can also make a negative question here. Haven't you seen that movie? What? Haven't you seen that movie? You're so strange. Everyone I know has seen that movie, but you haven't? What's wrong with you? Let's move on to the present perfect progressive. Now, this one is a little bit tough. It's an ongoing action up to the present, and the duration is important. And we don't know if it's going to continue into the future or not. Here's an example. You have been running for an hour. Okay, you have been running for an hour. You see it in the diagram here. So the running started in the past and the running has been happening. It's been ongoing for 1 hour up to the present. We don't know if he's gonna stop running or not. You could also use the contraction. You've been running for an hour. Now, how about the negative form? You have not been running for an hour. Or, you haven't been running for an hour. The question form? Have you been running for an hour? Now the third person, watch out here. I think you can guess what I'm going to say. She has been running for an hour. She has been running for an hour, or you could say, she's been running for an hour. The negative form? She has not been running for an hour. She hasn't been running for an hour. Can you guess the question form? Has she been running for an hour? That would be a perfect question. Of course, you could say, where have you been running for an hour? Or, why has she been running for an hour? The negative question is also possible. Haven't you been running for an hour? I'm surprised that you haven't been running for an hour. We're doing very well here, guys. Let's move on to the past tenses. The simple past. So the simple past is for finished action. So one time in the past, or maybe a past habit. Let's take a look at an example. You played soccer. Played. ED shows that it's a past tense. But this one is a regular verb. So that's why we add ED at the end. What is the negative form? You did not play soccer. Watch out here. You did not play soccer. Not you did not played soccer. No. There is only one past tense and it's did. Did is the past tense at the negative form. You could use the contraction. You could say, you didn't play soccer. Can you guess the question form? Did you play soccer? Let me give you one more example. She ate pizza. Aha, watch out here because it's an irregular verb. Eat, ate, eaten. The second one is the past tense. She ate pizza. What about the negative form? She did not eat pizza. Once again, you see here, eat is the base verb. The past is here, so the past has shifted. Instead of having ate, you have did not eat, and that is very confusing for many students. If you want to use the contraction, you can say, she didn't eat pizza. How about the question form? Did she eat pizza? That's a perfect question. You can also add question words. When did you play soccer? Where did you play soccer? Why did she eat pizza? How did she eat pizza? And you know that we can make a negative question also. We could say, didn't she eat pizza? It means you are very surprised that she did not touch the pizza. It's so weird. It's so strange. What's wrong with her? Past progressive. The most common use of the past progressive is for an ongoing action in the past. So you see in the diagram, it's very, very clear. Now let me give you an example. I was sleeping at 10 p.m. Aha, so here you see the sleeping started in the past and it's ongoing, and the blue arrow right here, the light blue arrow, is 10 p.m. at night. So I was sleeping at 10 p.m. What is the negative form? I was not sleeping at 10 p.m. You can also use the contraction. Can you guess? I wasn't sleeping at 10 p.m. Question form? Was I sleeping at 10 p.m.? It's a little strange, once again, that you're asking that about yourself, but sometimes it happens. Maybe you didn't check the time and you're like, what? Was I sleeping at 10 p.m.? I can't believe it. Let's go with an example with the second person. You were sleeping at 10 p.m. So for the verb to be here, I'm going to help you out a little bit more here. I didn't mention it for the present progressive, but here it is. I was sleeping at 10 p.m. You were sleeping. He was, she was, it was. You were, we were, they were sleeping at 10 p.m. So this should help you a lot. Now the negative form, what would you say? You were not sleeping at 10 p.m. The contraction is you weren't sleeping at 10 p.m. How about the question form? Were you sleeping at 10 p.m.? Great question. Why was I sleeping at 10 p.m.? Where were you sleeping at 10 p.m.? We can make the negative question. Weren't you sleeping at 10 p.m.? Weren't you sleeping at 10 p.m. means I think you should have been sleeping, but you were not sleeping at that time. What is wrong with you? Let's move on to the past perfect. So that is used for an action before another action in the past. Here's an example. She had finished lunch when you called. So here I'm going to give you both a regular verb and an irregular verb. She had eaten lunch when you called. Let's take another look at the diagram. You see here you have a pink X. So she finished eating lunch there, and then you called is the light blue X right here. Two separate actions in the past. So like I said, finished is a regular verb and eaten is the irregular verb. Eat, ate, eaten. The third one is the past participle. The contractions, you could say she'd finished or she'd eaten. She'd eaten. It's a little bit hard to pronounce. So for this one, you see, there is no S for she. Okay, that's important to notice. In fact, all the pronouns are the same. They are all the same. All the persons are the same. There is no extra S needed at the past tense. Now let's go to the negative form. She had not finished lunch when you called. Or she had not eaten lunch when you called. What is the contraction? She hadn't finished lunch. Or she hadn't eaten lunch when you called. How about the question form? Had she finished lunch when you called? Had she eaten lunch when you called? And just like before, you can make the negative question. Hadn't she finished lunch when you called? It's a little strange. I was expecting her to be finished, but she was not finished? It's very strange. What's wrong with her? One more time, you can add a question word in front and it makes very good information questions. Let's move on to the past perfect progressive. Now it's becoming a lot more difficult. The past perfect progressive is used for an ongoing action up to another action in the past, and the focus is on the duration. Here's an example. We had been waiting for 2 hours when the train arrived. We had been waiting. So it was an ongoing action because of ing. For 2 hours, the focus is on the duration. And then the train arrived. But the waiting kept going all the way until the train arrived. You could also use the contraction. We'd been waiting. We'd been waiting for 2 hours. And once again, it's the same for all of the pronouns. I had been waiting, you had been waiting, they had been waiting. It's exactly the same. There is no change. How about the negative form? Can you guess? We had not been waiting for 2 hours when the train arrived. We hadn't been waiting for 2 hours when the train arrived. For the question form, had you been waiting for 2 hours when the train arrived? And you can make the negative question. Hadn't you been waiting for 2 hours when the train arrived? I was expecting you to have been waiting for 2 hours by the time the train arrived, but you were not? What's wrong with you? Once again, you can add question words in front. Why had you been waiting for 2 hours when the train arrived? Or where had you been waiting? That's a very important question. And finally, the future tenses. Let's go. Simple future, super easy, an action in the future. For example, you will take the test tomorrow. You will take the test tomorrow. And for the future as well, it is the same for all of the pronouns. I will take the test tomorrow. They will take the test tomorrow. The negative form, you will not take the test tomorrow. Or, you won't take the test tomorrow. How about the question form? Will you take the test tomorrow? And if you want to make it negative, won't you take the test tomorrow? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you going to take the test tomorrow? That is the meaning of the negative question. You can always add a question word before. When will you take the test? Where will you take the test? Why will you take the test? Future progressive, an ongoing action in the future. Here's the affirmative form. He will be cooking when you arrive. He will be cooking. Let's take a look at the diagram here. The cooking started here in the future, and he will be cooking. It's an ongoing action when you arrive. So at a specific time in the future, he will be cooking. Here, there is a contraction. You could say, he'll be cooking. He'll be cooking when you arrive. And one more time, they are all the same. She'll be cooking, you'll be cooking, they'll be cooking when you arrive. The negative form, he will not be cooking when you arrive. How about the contraction? He won't be cooking when you arrive. Can you guess the question form? Will he be cooking when you arrive? That's excellent. How about the negative question? Won't he be cooking when you arrive? He should be cooking when you get home, but he will not be cooking? What's wrong with him? One more time here, you can add question words. What will he be cooking when you arrive? Where will he be cooking when you arrive? Why will he be cooking when you arrive? Or why won't he be cooking when you arrive? That is the question. The future perfect. It is used to talk about a completed action before a future point. Here's an example. He will have finished his homework before bedtime. Oh, you see here, the homework will be finished and then it's going to be bedtime. So before bedtime, the homework will be finished. Two separate points in the future. One is an action. The second one could be an action or just a time or a specific point in time. Bedtime, for example. Finished is a regular verb, whereas done is an irregular verb. You can also say, he will have done his homework before bedtime. If you want to use a contraction, you can say, he'll have finished his homework. He'll have done his homework. Once again, they are all the same. All the pronouns are the same. Nothing changes here. The negative form, he will not have finished his homework before bedtime. He will not have done his homework before bedtime. The contraction, he won't have finished. He won't have done his homework before bedtime. How about the question? Will he have finished his homework before bedtime? And the negative question, won't he have finished his homework before bedtime? You know what the negative question means. And you can add a question word in front to make an information question. Last but not least, the future perfect progressive. That is used for an ongoing action, including the duration up until a future point. Now, it's important to note that here I made the action start in the past, but the action could also be starting in the future. That's also a possibility to start here and continue into the future. Okay? Here's an example. I will have been working for 35 years by the time I retire. So in this case, the action started in the past some years ago, and by the time I retire, the time I retire is here, the light blue X. I will have been working for 35 years. The contraction is I'll have been working for 35 years. One more time, they are all the same. He will have been working. She will have been working. We will have been working for 35 years. Negative form, I will not have been working for 35 years by the time I retire. I'm not going to reach 35 years. The contraction is I won't have been working for 35 years by the time I retire. What's the question form? Will you have been working for 35 years by the time you retire? You could say, will I have been working? That's a little strange, but anyway, will you have been working is much better. The negative form, won't you have been working for 35 years by the time you retire? I thought you would, but you won't? That's very strange, and I'm very surprised. Where will you have been working for 35 years? Why won't you have been working for 35 years? Great questions. Now let's review with a final quiz, guys. Now you are a verb tense expert. You know about the present tenses, you know about the 4 past tenses, the future tenses, and now is the time to test yourself with 24 difficult questions. Let's go. Here's your first question. So now I'm giving you 1 square and you have 2 squares to guess. Here we have a simple past verb. Okay, it's a simple past question with a finished action in the past. Did you drive Tom to the airport? What is the affirmative form? You ready? 3, 2, 1. You drove Tom to the airport. Drove is the past tense. How about the negative form? Give it a try. You did not drive Tom to the airport, or you didn't drive Tom to the airport. 2 points right here. Next question. Future perfect progressive. This one is hard. Ready? Kate will have been jogging for an hour by the time you join her. What is the negative form? Kate will not have been jogging for an hour by the time you join her, or Kate won't have been jogging. Question form? Give it a shot. Let's go. Make sure you practice at home. Super important. Here's the question. Will Kate have been jogging for an hour by the time you join her? Great question. You could also have the negative question. Won't Kate have been jogging for an hour? Great question too. Next set. Will you call me later? That is simple future. It's a simple future question. What is the affirmative form? The affirmative form is you will call me later. How about the negative form? You won't call me later, or you will not call me later. She hasn't been to France. Present perfect. Are you ready for the affirmative form? She has been to France. This one should be super easy. What about the question form? Has she been to France? You could also have, hasn't she been to France? What's wrong with her? Next question. You are watching an amazing video, and that is so true. That is present progressive right at this very moment, right now. What's the negative form? You are not watching an amazing video. But that's not true, right? You are not watching a boring video. That would be better. How about the question form? Are you watching an amazing video right now? I think so. Give yourself 2 points if you got the right answers. Next question, the past progressive. They were cleaning the house. What is the negative form? They were not cleaning the house or they weren't cleaning the house. Question form? Were they cleaning the house or weren't they cleaning the house? 2 points. Future perfect. Tim will have prepared dinner by the time we get home. Think about it. What is the negative form? Tim will not have prepared dinner by the time we get home, or Tim won't have prepared dinner by the time we get home. What's the question? Will Tim have prepared dinner by the time we get home? Or the negative form, won't Tim have prepared dinner by the time we get home? Let's move on to the next question. Simple present. This one should be easy. I'm giving you the negative form. She doesn't skip breakfast every day. What is the positive form or the affirmative form? It is, she skips breakfast every day. Don't forget the S here. It's super important. What's the question? Does she skip breakfast every day? One more time, don't forget the ES on do. Do plus ES, does. Next one, past perfect. You hadn't left the office when I arrived. You had not left the office when I arrived. What is the affirmative form? You had left the office when I arrived. How about the question? Had you left the office when I arrived? 2 points if you got the answers right. Present perfect progressive. He has been waiting for 10 minutes. What is the negative form? He has not been waiting for 10 minutes or he hasn't been waiting for 10 minutes. Question form? Has he been waiting for 10 minutes or hasn't he been waiting for 10 minutes? 2 points here as well. Future progressive. Will the kids be sleeping at 11 p.m.? Affirmative form? The kids will be sleeping at 11 p.m. How about the negative form? The kids will not be sleeping at 11 p.m. or the kids won't be sleeping at 11 p.m. Next question. Past perfect progressive. He hadn't been working for CVS for 2 years when he got fired. Okay, now give me the affirmative form. He had been working for CVS for 2 years when he got fired. How about the question? Question form is, had he been working for CVS for 2 years when he got fired? Or hadn't he been working for CVS for 2 years when he got fired? Both questions are good. And this was the last one, guys. I hope you learned a lot today. It was a very, very intense video. Let me know your score in the comment section below. And if you want to learn more useful English, check out my videos or visit my website. See you next time. Bye-bye.